Antiques that you use in the kitchen. That's what we're going to talk about here tonight at the Back Porch Antiques, are some antiques that people still seek after in order to still use in the kitchen. You've always heard it said that the old ways are sometimes the best ways, and we see that often here at the Back Porch Antiques when people come into our store looking for antiques that they can still use in their kitchen. So we're going to give you a few examples of that as we start tonight. And one of the most popular and most sought after antiques that is still used in the kitchen is good cast iron skillets, good cast iron cookware. One of the most sought after and most famous cast iron cookware is Griswold. Now, at some point, I would like to do a video specifically on Griswold cookware, Griswold cast iron. There are lots of experts out there that can tell you lots about the logos and the dates and how old it is and what density of material it is. There are YouTube videos on how to restore it, how to season it, how to cook with it. But all I'm going to tell you tonight is that there are a lot of people who want to buy Griswold cast iron to still use in the kitchen. We've got quite a bit of that to choose from the Back Porch Antiques. Check us out and we'll be glad to sell you some. This is a good example right here from our cast iron guy, Mark Anderson. Number 6 small block logo, completely restored through his electrolysis process. And that's good stuff and does really well. Next thing, I've got a couple of food processing things that are still used today in kitchens. Even commercial chefs will come into our store looking for these particular antique pieces because the purity of it is great, and it's done better when these things were new than they are today. One of them is this particular style grater, cheese grater, food grater, anything. Mounts on a table, has beautiful industrial look, so it adds to any, I guess, prestige of a home kitchen or a commercial kitchen or something along those lines. Has a good look to it, sturdy. They don't make things like they used to. This is made well. This particular piece is a number 100 Schroeder's Improved Grater, probably geared more toward a cheese grater. As you can see, the teeth inside of the rotating drum assembly. Drop the cheese down in here, or whatever it is that you want to grate, and it comes out here into a bowl. It works pretty well. Put it on a table and simply turn it. You can do that a lot better this way than you could by hand. And these are fairly well. They're very popular and sought after in our store. Another thing is the meat processor, and you've got different options of those. You got some that make like sausage links. You got some that grind up sausage or beef or things like that. There are a lot of people that still use those. This is an example of that. You can see how it works on the inside. This is made by the Enterprise company. It's called the Enterprise Food Chopper. And this is the number 100. Enterprise is also known for their coffee grinders. And their commercial coffee grinders, you've seen those probably with the great big wheels on the side. And those are also highly sought after. A lot of your local baristas and things like that look for those because of the way they look, their antiquity, but also their usefulness. I don't have to show one of the big wheels, but I do have a smaller coffee grinder. Probably more of a residential type piece. Simply put your coffee in there, your coffee beans that is. Turn it, you can hear the gears working there, and it will grind fresh your coffee beans for your cup of joe. That one has been used and it still has a faint smell of coffee in it, and that's pretty cool in my opinion. Another thing too is the copper or brass kettle used to process jams and jellies and things like that. Some of them were used to work off lard, render lard. Actually, you'll see more of that in a cast iron type pot or a caldron, if you will. But this is an antique. I think this one is made by You can't really tell, but it does have a maker's mark. This is probably a 3 or 4 gallon would be enough for apple butter or something like that. You see a lot of traditional people will cook off apple butter in brass kettles because it doesn't stick as much and the heat transfers well throughout the whole kettle instead of just on the bottom. So if you ever wondered why do they use brass kettles, there's your answer. Good heat transfer, it's light, durable, cleans well, and you can't reproduce this. You can't reproduce this to the standards that it was made 100 years ago. So today, people want the ones that were made 100 years ago to still use. Maybe you were one of those people. I find myself to be that way. For those who make slaw or sauerkraut or things like that, there is this medieval, grotesque-looking machine. It is a Kraut Chopper or a slaw grinder or chopper, if you will. It could be used for many different, I suppose, food processing methods, but it's most known for making coleslaw. And simply take this piece out, put your head of lettuce or cabbage rather in here, and then you move this back and forth. And you'll notice that it has blades, which by the way, those are sharp. If you find yourself in an antique store and you touch those, they will cut you. So be careful. And this will actually shred your cabbage and make it suitable for slaw. When it gets down to a certain level, you put your little pressing board down on top of that and slide it back and forth. It is exactly what it is intended to do, and it is a sought-after piece of equipment still yet today. By today's standards, you cannot beat some of the old methods of antique food processing machines or pieces of kitchen material. So that's all I've got tonight about antique food processing things. If those sorts of things interest you, shoot us a message. Check out our Facebook and Instagram pages. We post those things for sale quite often. Everything that you see here tonight is for sale, so we'd be glad to sell it to you. Also, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I appreciate you joining us.